Well, as you just heard, the numbers on the upcoming midterm election are interesting. The Democrats are still ahead, but they're not nearly as popular as they were 6 months ago. And that is weird. The president is still disliked by half the country. Congressional Republicans in the polling are even less admired than he is. So Democrats ought to be way ahead. And as you just heard, they're not. So why is that? Could it be that for all the problems with the Republican Party, and those problems are real, Democrats are perceived as even less appealing? Looks that way. The question is why? We have some theories. We could show you a million examples to illustrate this, but here's one from just yesterday that came immediately to mind. Watch as this MSNBC panel, which is as close to a Democratic Party focus group as you'll ever find, gushes over that porn lawyer, the one whose eyes are too close together. You know, the one who's always on television making threats. Watch this.
Michael Avenatti is a beast.
Okay, that's true.
And
he's a beast.
He's a beast, and he keeps popping Donald Trump and all of his folks in the mouth. John Meacham says he may be the savior of the republic. It's really interesting.
He killed the news of the Iran deal practically in one big stroke. He really is a master of the media cycle. I owe Michael Avenatti an apology. For the last couple of weeks, I've been saying, enough already, Michael. I've seen you everywhere. What do you have left to say? I was wrong, brother. You have a lot to say. The Democrats could learn something for you. You are messing with Trump a lot more than they are.
So here's a political rule of thumb. If the creepy porn lawyer is, quote, the savior of the republic in your view, you're probably not trying very hard to appeal to middle America, and Democrats are not. In fact, in the last year and a half, the Democratic Party has doubled down on every behavior that got Trump elected in the first place. They routinely vilify tens of millions of Americans based on how they look. They prefer legal immigrants to U.S. citizens. At this point, they don't even hide that preference. They're open about it. In schools, in sports, in the military, they denounce the idea of biological differences between men and women. That's something that every culture from ancient Egypt till about 20 minutes ago understood perfectly well because it's demonstrable. They don't recognize it anymore. Then 2 nights ago, the New York Times criticized the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, in his trip to North Korea. They ran the headline, "At a key moment, Trump's top diplomat is again thousands of miles away," like it was a sin. But the purpose of his visit, you'll recall, was to secure the release of 3 American prisoners. But the Times was not impressed by that. Pompeo works for Trump, so the whole thing must be bad. Whatever else he's done, Trump has driven the Democratic Party off the deep end. They not only hate him, but the country that elected him, and it's starting to show in the polls. Christy Setzer is president of New Heights Communications. She's been in and around the Democratic Party for a long time, and she joins us tonight. So, I mean, you heard Tom Bevan say, you know, they're mad that their message isn't getting out. But the truth is their message is Trump is bad. And that's not really a message, right? That's more an animal reaction.
Whatever their message is, it's actually working. If you look at the congressional and state level elections that have happened since November 2016, Democrats have flipped 40-plus seats at the state legislative level, and often in districts where Trump actually won by 20 or 30 points. So we can quibble about what the message is, but we can't really quibble right now about whether or not it's working, because it clearly seems to be.
Well, I mean, of course, to some extent, I mean, Trump is still, like, loathed by half the population. It's his first midterm, so historically, of course they're going to pick up seats. So the question is, where's the wave? And if you listen to what the message really is, one of the messages is, for example, that there are no differences between the sexes, that biological reality is, like, fake.
Nobody's saying that. I mean, no,
and we need to reorganize society along those lines. That's way more radical than anything Trump has ever said.
I would suggest that you point me to the candidate that is saying that and making that their real message. No, look, Democrats are being reasonable in this election.
Would it be possible for a Democrat running for office in a Democratic primary to say there are 2 biological sexes, male and female, and that's it? That's what our biology does. If you said that,
I would suggest they talk about the economy.
No. What do you mean? They're trying to reorganize. Are you joking? They're the ones pushing all these changes on the rest of us, including the bathroom thing and all of this. You couldn't say that in the Democratic Party. No, I'm serious.
It's Republicans who are doing the bathroom thing. Again, North Carolina, that was a entirely Republican
No one even
thing.
imagined there were more than 2 sexes until about 20 minutes ago, and it was Democrats. So, but I'm just saying, that's a big change. Maybe biology isn't real, but that's not a mainstream position, and they spent a lot of time talking about it. Does that help?
I would say that if you wanted to make the argument to me that Democrats should or should not be talking about impeachment, they should or should not be spending a lot of time on Stormy Daniels and Michael Avenatti, we can have that conversation, and I would be happy to. But there is no mainstream Democratic candidate who is talking about, as you said, you know, the differences in biology.
You could say, as a Democrat, I'm serious, because I think it's reordering society is always a big deal. And pretending biology is fake is too. So you could have a Democratic candidate who would say there are 2 biological sexes. That's it. He could get away with that?
I don't think that they have been, is what I'm saying. And I think, again, if you look back to the ways that Democrats have been performing up to this point, whatever it is that they're doing is working. There is far more energy, there is more small dollar donations, and that leads into more volunteers, and it leads to a better slate of candidates in the Democratic
A lot of that is true. I think you're absolutely right. There's probably more energy, more money, and all that. I'm waiting for the wave. We'll see. I hope you'll come back election night.
We will make America great again.